Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of great millstone, all well, and Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Kalam, and I'm for the GBS UK Line of Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So I made a lesson a few days ago going into certain foods that are unlawful to eat during the Feast of Unleavened Bread and the Pesach, well, the Pesach leading into the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is what we're in now, which is, you don't eat anything with leaven in it, anything with any yeast. Now, at the time when I made the video, I was operating on the understanding I had, but I was speaking to a brother, an older brother today, about this topic, and he actually gave me a little bit more insight into this issue. So I basically wanted to make a correction video because some of the information that I gave wasn't fully uh, on point according to the scriptures. So I'm making this video as a correction now. So slack you for that. But let's go into more detail on this topic. Okay. So in the previous video, I said that items such as eggs and bicarbonate of soda could be considered as natural raising agents. Now, this is true because, eggs can be added to the mixture of a cake uh, as a natural raising agent, but the key point is that it is natural. Yeah, that's the key word. The key word I want to emphasize is natural because the type of raising agent that the scriptures is actually specifically referring to is those that are not natural. So, let's say, for example, yeast purposely added to raise various foods such as bread or cakes. Uh, that could be considered a raising agent. But then you have natural yeasts, which are different and are not for the purposes of a raising agent, and that is what eggs would fall under. Eggs would fall under this category. So I've got here on the screen. It says, quick typed in the question to AI. It says no, there is no yeast in eggs. Eggs are a natural protein-rich food and are considered safe for yeast-free diets. While used together in cooking, eggs and yeast are entirely distinct ingredients. Eggs contribute structure and moisture, while yeast is a fungus used for leavening. You see, there you go. So that yeast that's spoken of in that scripture, that's the type of raising agent that we need to avoid uh, on the night of the Passover and in the week of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which, as I said, we're in the midst of right now. So, yeah, the type of yeast that the scripture speaks of is that which raises or puffeth up. This is where the spiritual reference is drawn to sin, as in being puffed up, uh, being proud, expanding oneself above one's means, enlarging in the wrong direction. Just as bread expands in the oven or a cake would expand in the oven, that's what that yeast is likened unto, and that's what we have to be wary of uh, in these times, and that's what Scripture's referring to. Uh, and that is because of the purpose of the added ingredient yeast. Yeah, that is why the bread rises predominantly. It's because of the yeast, which is purposely added to a mixture to make something puff up or rise. As for natural yeast, in particular products, that is not considered as a raising agent in terms of the light of the scriptures, which is what's important. We need to consider these things in the light of the scriptures as to what the scriptures are referring to and what it means. A good example is that you can find natural yeasts in particular products that is not considered as a raising agent. A good example of this is that wine has yeast in it, but yet you're supposed to drink wine on the night of the Passover. Now, someone could argue and say, oh, but if you can't eat anything that contains yeast, um, you can't drink the wine on the night of the Passover, which is ridiculous. You have to drink the wine on the night of Passover. The reason for that is because uh, the yeast in the wine doesn't make the wine froth up or anything like that. So it's considered natural in that context. So in that context, it's lawful to consume it because you can drink wine on the night of the Passover. It's actually required. And you can also drink it during the following week, which is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which, as I said to you before, is what we're in right now. So certain things have yeast in it, but a natural yeast in particular products is different to raising agent yeast. Pasta is another good example that has natural yeast in it. And again, I have to say, Slovakia made the correction because I thought pasta was unlawful to eat during this time because it has yeast. But again, the real understanding is that no, that yeast in pasta doesn't make it rise, so therefore it's considered natural and it's not unlawful to eat during this time. As I said before, I used eggs as an example. Eggs are a natural raising agent, but they're lawful to eat during this time. Uh, also in regards to the eggs, if you was to make a cake with eggs but not any yeast, you can be guaranteed that it's going to come out hella different than if you actually made the cake with the yeast in it. And again, that shows the power of the raising agent, and that's what's not lawful to consume in this time. So I'm making that distinction. Lord willing, this is all clear and concise and edifying. But yeah, you can consume eggs and wine and things of that nature. The prohibition on yeast during the feast is the yeast which is specifically used for the raising of cakes, breads, or other foods. Uh, but yeah, you've also got natural yeasts, and those are very much acceptable. Because if it's not purposely there for or as a raising agent, it's lawful. You could say it's kosher to eat or drink, such as wine. But if it's not purposely there for as a raising agent, yeah, it's lawful, so it's okay. I'm gonna give you one more example of this, right? Is with wine again. If you look at the chemical composition or structure of wine, you'll find that yeast is present in the mix, but wine doesn't froth. Yeah, it doesn't froth up. But if you add yeast to barley to make beer, the beer will froth. And if it is an addition as it is with beer, then it is prohibited because that's why you can't drink beer during the Feast of Unleavened Bread or the Pesach, but you can drink wine because, as I said, the yeast added to the barley to make the beer, it makes it froth up, so it causes it to rise up. So that's the type of raising agent we have to avoid. Phew. So like it's a bit of a mouthful to get through to explain, but I hope that has made sense. And Slakia once again, just making this correction video to correct the mistake I made on the previous video. So yeah, you don't have to avoid eggs. You can eat eggs. You can drink wine. You can eat pasta. The raising agents that you have to avoid in this during the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread is that which is added to make things literally rise up. Yeah. Because again, the rising up is likened unto, pride and, puffing up oneself, and essentially likened unto, sin. So yeah, I'm going to end it there because I can keep talking for a lot longer, but I think I've made the point. So Lord willing, that's edified. So with that, once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. And I'll catch you in the next lesson. Ultimately, Shalom for now.